Hey friends, it's Zach. So I just did a video, but it was way too long, so I have to redo it. Balls. No, I'm kidding. So hopefully it'll just come out just as well and just as perfect this time. So David, this is for you. This was inspired by Mr. David Strawn. He asked me to do a video on how to live the teachings of Ralph Waldo Emerson. Now, Ralph Waldo Emerson, for those of you who don't know, is a philosopher in the 1800s who was pretty much like the father of Transcendentalism. So Transcendentalism is basically I'll read it to you real quick. Here we go. It explains that the human mind forms experience. This is the philosophy that explains the human mind forms experience, that the existence of such mental operations is a counter to skepticism, and that transcendental does not mean transcendent or beyond human experience altogether, but something through which experience is made possible. Now those are Kant, Immanuel Kant's statements, and Ralph Waldo Emerson believes in those as well, but also said that the transcendentalist believes in miracles, conceived as the perpetual openness of the human mind to new influx of light and power. So, what is Emerson saying? He's saying that our minds create our reality. Cool? That we're divine beings. That we are the pure essence of God. And maybe I haven't researched him as much as I could have, but that's basically what he's saying. And maybe those are a little my words too. So, we're first going to understand the mind. So, what exists in this world? Absolutely nothing unless you perceive it. Nothing is real unless you perceive it to be real. And I'm saying that in full truth. I don't exist unless you perceive me to exist. Now I'm getting really philosophical. The whole world is perception. The way we see the world can never be the same through two different eyes. Some people will say, Zach, you have strawberry blonde hair. Other people will say, Zach, your headband looks ridiculous. Your face is red. Some people say, Zach, you're white. You know, whatever that is. Some people say she's beautiful, some people say she's not. Some people say the tree is beautiful and green, some people say it's ugly and yellow. Right? So the world is perception. Everything is perception. And that's exactly what Emerson is saying. Through our perception, we can understand the world in larger terms. Now here's going to be a good one. God, or spirit, or source, or the universe, or the divine being, whatever you want to call it. God, in all scriptures, God is omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient, okay? He's in all things. God is all things, okay? That's omnipotent, present in all things. Cool? That's pretty simple. Therefore, if God is all things, you are God. That's pretty simple, right? That's just basic deduction. If God is all things and you are something, you are God. Cool. We got that figured out with. Done with fighting wars. We're all God. If you are God, then you are all things. Beautiful. So how do I start living that? That's a good question. Tell yourself it. You have to tell yourself. You have to remind yourself, because there's a part of your mind that's built in there for importance called your ego. And that's the thing that tells us we're separate. Tells it that I'm Zach, you're David, or Boris, my mom, or my dad, or Ellie, my mom. Right? It's that I'm a physical body and this is a table. That's the ego. And it's necessary. We need the ego. That's how our minds are built. We were created with an ego. It's not an ego as in I'm big and buff and super strong and you know, the coolest guy ever, I'm the shit, you know, whatever you want to say. That, yes, that is ego. That's saying he's separate or she's separate. But also the ego comes from the person who says I'm worthless. I'm worth nothing. I am the bottom of the universe. I'm a slave. That's an ego too, is it not? Yeah, it's separating us. So it is a battle in your mind. I'm not gonna lie, David, it's a big time battle, and you just have to understand it. You have to appreciate it, but you have to look past it, because you have the ability to conceive of yourself as something higher than just this body, or else you wouldn't have asked me the question, right, David? Our thoughts create reality, not only because of the way we perceive it. You can see ugly all around you, or you can see beauty all around you. But once you can get past the ego and understand that because God is all things, I am therefore God and all things by deduction. Simple as that. And it takes practice. It takes practice to learn an instrument. David, you're an amazing bass player. It takes practice to learn the bass. It takes practice to write. It takes practice to talk. It takes practice to play a sport. Whatever it is, it takes practice. And it takes a little patience. But as long as you keep reminding yourself and understand wholeheartedly and know within your own heart that you are more than just the body you're seeing, then that's when life opens up and you can understand life as Emerson did, and you can live life. You no longer, once you have the knowledge, then you can put it into action. Having the knowledge is power, but true power comes from living the life that you know is possible. You now know that all things are possible because you are God. The thought itself, there could not be a thought if there wasn't already a manifestation of that thought. Think about that. If it didn't exist, you couldn't want it. That's where Emerson, I think, and I don't know if he's talked about that, but that's where he might have gone wrong, and or not have attained to that knowledge yet. The thought itself is proof of the existence of that desire, of that thought. You couldn't want air if it didn't exist. Your body couldn't need air if it didn't exist. Am I wrong? I'm right, right? So how do you live that? You now have the knowledge that you are God, that you are limited beyond scope. The only thing that is limiting you now is your mind, is the thoughts you have about life. So the way you live that is by putting it into practice each day, by reminding yourself when you look at another person that the life that is within that other person is the exact same life that is within you. When you look into the eyes of your dog, you know that dog or cat has a spirit, has a soul. And by reminding yourself again and again that spirit, that soul is the same life flowing through them that is flowing through you. It's a constant reminder. And I haven't achieved the state of complete enlightenment, of complete knowing and understanding and fully living that truth. But I know that it's possible because I have the desire. And that desire, therefore, is now fulfilled. So we can start understanding that just by reminding ourselves over and over and over again that the only thing that is limiting me right now is my mind. Science is only theories. There's no fact. Fact becomes a fact based on multiple people's observations. That's just a bunch of people's observations. Millions of people have overcome obstacles that people said, you'll never do this, it'll never happen, but they did it anyways because they knew within themselves that they are above that. They are beyond this physical reality that we perceive. There's something within yourself deeper and stronger than the physical embodiment of it. Right? I think that's it. That's as much as I can explain. Let it all go. Let go of the crap in your mind that's holding you back. Nothing's holding you back but your limiting beliefs in your mind. Let go of those limiting beliefs. Just let them go. They don't serve you anymore. You're now beyond that. You now are one with God. You always have been, but now you have the knowledge, and now you can put that into practice. Just remind yourself day by day, and know that others are that as well. Treat them as God. Treat yourself as God because you are. Love yourself fully. Know that all things are possible and all things are present if you have the desire. You just have to be thankful and know that. That's a promise. Hopefully this video works on YouTube. Thanks for listening, guys. Love you.